Very good evening to all of you. Online students, I am audible. Okay. Try to sit with the webcam on. ठीक है ना? इन क्लासेस में भी वेबकैम ऑन नहीं करोगे तो कब करोगे? So one thing, ये वन वे क्लासेस तो है नहीं कि जिसमें मैं आपको कुछ बताने वाला हूँ और डिक्टेट करने वाला हूँ, राइट? इट इज मोर ऑफ अ इंटरेक्टिव क्लास. So try to sit with the webcam on. So two types of students are there in the class: those who are going to write mains this year, and those who are not been able to qualify pre this year, but still have shown the confidence to turn up for the class and keep preparing for the mains. See, आप समझते हो ये बात बहुत बार मैंने कही भी है. Again, I am just repeating for first few minutes that UPSC preparation is about preparing for mains, irrespective of whether you are qualifying pre or not. Those who heard these lines last year can relate more, and this year they have been able to qualify pre, and probably they would have been feeling यार last year prepare करते रहे होते तो better होता. ठीक है ना? तो ये हमेशा होता है कि आपको लगेगा बाद में जब प्री क्वालिफाई हो जाएगा कि यार unnecessarily I wasted my time at that time rather than wasting time and unnecessarily created negativity. It would have been better. I should have prepared. Means लिखने से सिलेक्शन नहीं होता, means में स्कोर लाने से सिलेक्शन होता है, राइट? The mistake I did, or many like me who did this mistake of not being totally involved in the preparation when the result of pre didn't came as expected, right? So the best strategy is to keep preparing. If you are thinking of writing mains, if you are thinking of writing your attempt in next year, irrespective whether you are qualifying pre or not, you should prepare for the exam. So until unless you will score well in your mains, you will never going to get the rank. 3 मेंस लिख लो, 4 मेंस लिख लो, 2 मेंस लिख लो, उससे कुछ नहीं होता, राइट? एक मेंस चाहिए होता है रैंक लाने के लिए, बस वो बेस्ट मेंस हो जाए, इतना बहुत है. सो मैनी पीपल डू थिंक यार अभी तक प्री नहीं हुआ. Many do write 3 mains, 2 mains. I still do not have the experience of writing mains. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. एक मेंस लिखो, बेस्ट अपना मेंस लिखो. इनफैक्ट what to say that in physics there is a law of negative return start after writing 2 mains. Self doubt start coming after writing 2 mains. यार पिछली बार मार्क्स नहीं आए, इस बार मैं अच्छा लिख पा रहा हूँ या नहीं. जितना फ्रेश माइंड से हम एक मेंस लिख देते हैं उसमें बेस्ट मार्क्स आ जाएं. दिस इज द बेस्ट विच कैन हैपन टू एनी एस्पिरेंट, right? So this is a crash course program. Quickly we are going to do a lot of things, and in these classes we are going to focus a lot on answer writing, right? Still, if you have doubt on any of the topic, you are feel free to ask doubts on any of the topic regarding any concept. If you face any problem while reading, let's say you are not clear with something what Macpherson said, you are not clear with some of the concept which has been given by Rawls, you are not clear with the communitarian critique of Rawls, conceptual clarity, if you have any conceptual doubt you can ask in the class. Otherwise we are going to focus a lot on answer writing practice. ठीक है ना? You have just completed your pre. Now when you prepare for mains you will feel that अब तक आपको प्री देना बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा होगा और प्री क्वालिफाई करना मुश्किल लग रहा होगा. अब आपको फील होगा प्री बहुत आसान है. आपको लगता है यार प्री हो जाए, मेंस तो मैं हैंडल कर लूंगा. नाउ यू विल रियलाइज हाउ डिफिकल्ट एंड चैलेंजिंग इट इज टू राइट मेंस, बिकॉज इन मेंस एवरीथिंग यू नीड टू प्रोड्यूस फ्रॉम हेयर. प्री में तो चारों सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है आगे, राइट? बट एक एस्पेक्ट में मुझे पर्सनली मेंस ईजी लगता था प्री से, और वो ये कि मेंस में इफ यू विल नॉट एबल टू रिमेंबर फ्यू थिंग्स हेयर एंड देयर, इट विल नॉट गोइंग टू इम्पैक्ट द ओवरऑल परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ योर एग्जाम. प्री में एक आधा क्वेश्चन भी ऊपर नीचे हो गया, एक आधा फैक्चुअल थिंग आपको नहीं पता, तो उस वही आपका सिलेक्शन को डिसाइड कर सकता है. मेंस में ऐसा नहीं है. आप एक आधा पॉइंट भूल भी गए, आपको स्कॉलरली ओपिनियन नहीं भी याद आया, still you can score overall well in your mains exam. So in this respect mains is less subjective than pre. Though pre is objective, mains is subjective. I personally feel if you are well prepared for mains, every time you will going to score well. Pre में श्योरिटी नहीं है, पिछले साल हुआ इस साल नहीं हुआ, इस साल हुआ हो सकता है अगले साल ना हो, रैंक भी आ गया उसके बाद भी हो सकता है प्री ना हो. इफ यू वांट टू improve your rank and you are giving your pre again, no one can tell with surety that, not even an aspirant, that I am going to qualify pre for sure. Mains एक बार आपका अच्छे से prepare हो गया, you will going to write will every time. So in this respect, personally, I feel mains is more objective. Once you are prepared well, for sure you will going to produce good answers. Okay, how many of you are going to write mains this year? 1 2 3 4 5. Monica, nahi hua? And online, how many of you are going to write mains this year? कितने लोग मेंस लिख रहे हो? जस्ट रेज हैंड. प्रकृति गुड. मुस्कान ठीक है. यूश. So now it's about for how many of you this will going to be your first mains? First mains. Anyone who is in the class and has written mains earlier too? ऐसा है कोई? You have written the mains last year. Do you want to share any of the challenge which you faced while writing your mains? Yes. Yes. So answer writing is not rocket science, है ना? Answer writing is how well you have consolidated your content. So the thing is multiple revisions. Revise, revise and revise. So it is about the game of multiple revisions. You have content in your mind. Having content in your mind, you will able to frame your answers. A good answer of UPSC demands what? Other than content is interlinkages. Wherever possible, it's not like in every answer you have to do that, but wherever possible. So if a student has imparted more linkages, more connections student has imparted in the answer, more marks student will going to fetch for sure. If you have written your answer, let's say Aristotle, there's a question on Aristotle, you have written an answer, whatever the question demands regarding the concept of Aristotle, but that question requires another student has imparted some interlinkages. I'll tell you with the example. Let's say critically analyze Aristotle's theory of citizenship. First thing, you will not going to get the direct theories. Most of the time it will be the analysis. So you need to have a proper understanding of the theory. Okay. No one will going to ask you to write Rawls' theory of justice. You need to have a proper understanding of his theory. What is the idea given by Rawls and how Rawls' idea is different from Aristotle idea of the Aristotle. Can you compare theory of justice of Aristotle with Rawls' theory of justice? So if it is critically analyzed theory of citizenship of Aristotle, what do you think? Which other philosopher can become while writing the answer for the critically analyze the theory of citizenship of Aristotle? How? His theory of citizenship. Question is critically analyze theory of citizenship of Aristotle. Do we accept his theory of citizenship in the present times? We consider his theory of citizenship is narrowly dated. is discriminatory. It is discriminatory against women. Who is the biggest critic of his theory of citizenship? Feminist. Which philosopher will come in his theory of citizenship? If we say, despite it is too narrow, despite it is discriminatory, still it holds relevance. In which aspect it holds relevance? Participation. Hannah Arendt. So one student has written in conclusion about Hannah that despite criticism in the present time, Hannah has also said in a similar way that the participation is must. If state does not have to, if you want state to not turn totalitarian, civic participation is must. So in the present time, who has carried forward this idea of Aristotle? Hannah. One student has written this, one has not written this. Who will fetch more marks? One who has been able to impart interlinkage. So game is of imparting interlinkages. Okay? So one is content and second is interlinkages wherever possible. Okay? And on this you need to work. You cannot learn this if you will not write. You need to work on this. Okay? You have to write to bring this particular aspect in your answer of imparting interlinkages. ठीक है. So how much you remember? कितना syllabus आपके दिमाग में मुझे भी पता नहीं. So we'll start from topic to topic, and I'll give you questions to write in the class. Try to frame the structure of those questions. Okay. Whatever you will miss, I'll tell you in the class. Okay, if you will able to remember this much what we are going to discuss in the crash course classes, you will be mains ready for this year mains. So that everything should be in your mind. ठीक? This is for example, United Nations. I've given you the example. So if you have to write critical analysis of UN in the present times, and the question is in the GS, do you need to mention any theories of international relation? No, you will simply going to write, it will be in 200 words. These are the grounds on which UN is being criticized. These are the grounds where UN is still relevant, and you will just end it with the conclusion. If you have to write critical analysis of UN in your paper 2 in political science, how you will going to write? Do you think you will going to give reference to the theories of international relations? Which theories of IR you will going to refer while writing a answer on UN? Liberals. Who are the most vocal supporter of supranational bodies? Liberal. Institutionalist. Which other theory of IR you will refer? Realist will say states will never going to compromise on their sovereignty. Realist believes in which concept of power? Balance of power. Liberals wants to bring dilution in the concept of balance of power with the help of international institutions, and they want to strengthen which concept? Collective security. Which other theory of IR you will refer? Very good. ISS, International Society School. ISS has a theory emphasized on which aspect? Anarchical society. And society has become anarchical because of the institutions of global governance. There are elements of both power and cooperation, or power and order prevalent. If Security Council as an organ represents the aspect of power, General Assembly reflects the elements of justice. So there are elements of both power and justice. Any other theory of IR we can refer while writing UN? नहीं, ये तीन ही theories है. ठीक है, तो जितना possible है उतना ही करेंगे ना. So these are the three theories which you should refer while writing an answer on UN in paper 2. So this is how we are going to learn the things in these classes. I'm not going to give you the details of the topic, hoping that you have revised, you have the syllabus in your mind. So those who do not have the mains this year, before the class, do come. I'll give you the task beforehand, before the next class. revise and come to the class, so that directly we'll start with the question answer sessions. ठीक. दूसरा थर्ड जो अनदर एस्पेक्ट है, एज आई सेड, कंटेंट, इंटरलिंकेजेस. एक एस्पेक्ट होता है स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ योर आंसर. ओके, योर स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ आंसर विल इंप्रूव. मोर यू राइट, better you will start making structures. ठीक. One example I am just telling you. I guess those who have done GS international relation classes with me might be aware of this aspect, that let's say you are aware of this threat, internal security threat for India, that is insurgency in Northeast. There are so many reasons for high violence in Northeast. If you have to frame an answer for this question in your GS, what are the reasons for high violence in Northeast? What factors you will quote? Diversity, ethnic diversity, cross-border illegal immigration, one of the reasons for high violence, porous borders, it's a golden triangle, development deficit, disparity. ये सारे points हैं. Always think, whenever the questions are like this, reasons for this and this, in your optional, in your GS, ठीक है ना, reasons for this and this, like reasons for regional disparities in India. What are the reasons for high regional disparity in India, where we can see growth is concentrated in few pockets? What are the reasons for this? Always use, I guess मैंने आपको बताया भी था, GPS tech. याद है ये? याद है? GPS टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं याद? First, always think historical factors. Are there any historical factors for this particular issue? So आपको एक point मिल गया, historical factors. So reasons for high violence in Northeast is British policy of isolation, and they pursued this policy under Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act, and inner line permit system which prevails is the direct outcome of the British policy of isolation. So always think historical factors behind any issue. तो ऑप्शनल पेपर 2 में जब आपको आंसर्स लिखने अपने इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस के, राइट, फर्स्ट ऑलवेज थिंक अबाउट हिस्टोरिकल इश्यूज. इफ यू, I hope you, those who have done Pol Science as a foundation with me, because there are many in the class who has done foundation elsewhere. So in paper 2, whenever I'll give you any question, always try to impart phases in your answer. And that's how I have given you the notes also for your international relation. The first phase of our foreign policy is, or the first phase of our engagement, the way we have engaged with any of the country or the region, first phase is from 47 to 1990. So this is the first phase. If we have to write India-Israel ties, that's how we are going to write. The first phase was like this. In context of India-Pakistan, the first phase was like this. In case of India-Pakistan, which years are seen as the first phase of our engagement with Pakistan? 47 to 71, phase of direct confrontations. 71 to 90 is seen as phase of normalization, and post 90s is seen as phase of proxy war. So we'll impart phases. 47 to 90 in general is the first phase of our foreign policy. 90s will liberalize our economy. LPG reforms, it brought the complete change the way we were engaging. We started look east policy after LPG reforms. Import substitution to export promotion model. Now we were looking forward for the markets. In general, 90s till 2008 is the second phase of our foreign policy, and 8 onwards is seen as general, the third phase of our foreign policy, right? So wherever possible, write the answer in phases. wherever possible, when we have to analyze the issues from broader perspective, first we consider historical factors, whatever the historical factors responsible for that, then geographical factors responsible for that, then political factors responsible for that, then economic factors responsible for that, then socio-cultural factors which are responsible for that. Like for Northeast insurgency, socio-cultural factor is ethnic diversity. Geographical factor is porous borders, disaster prone region, industrialization difficult, lack of connectivity. Okay, this is where the importance of Bangladesh lies, because we need an alternate trade transit route to reach to Northeast, as there's a hindrance of chicken neck. Okay, lack of connectivity with Northeast, porous border, difficult terrain, industrialization difficult. Socio-cultural factor, it's a mosaic of culture, high ethnic diversity, more than 200 ethnic indigenous groups lives in Northeast, right? E is for economic factors, right? Development deficit, right? So if you will write like this, historical factors, geographical factors, political factors, socio-cultural factors, economic factors, this impart better structure to your answer. So whenever you have to analyze reasons for any issue, try to analyze reasons in these broader perspectives. Clear हुई बात? So first thing is content is the king. Second is interlinkage. Third is structure making. That wherever possible, try to impart structure to your answer. टीचर भी जैसे जो इवेल्युएटर होगा वो जैसे ही देखेगा हिस्टोरिकल फैक्टर्स, ज्योग्राफिकल, पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक, खट 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 मार्क्स. मार्क्स आर, मेरा जो एक्सपीरियंस कहता है, मार्क्स आर ऑफ पॉइंटर्स. हाउ मेनी पॉइंट्स यू हैव कवर्ड, नॉट हाउ ब्रॉडली यू हैव डिफाइंड दैट पॉइंट. ठीक है ना, कितने पॉइंट्स हैं आपके आंसर में, दैट विल फेच यू मोर मार्क्स. तो अगर यूएन पर आपको लिखना है, लेट्स से critically analyze relevance of UN, the grounds on which UN can be criticized. One student has written 2 grounds to criticize, another has written 5 grounds to criticize and 10 grounds to support. Who will fetch more marks? Points. As simple as this. It is about bringing more points in your answer. ठीक. Last aspect is your conclusion. Try that your conclusion should be progressive, pragmatic. Progressive pragmatic means full of optimism, reflecting hope. ठीक, reflecting hope wherever possible, in context of India China, in context of India Pakistan, in context of world peace. Your conclusion with respect to UN, with respect to multilateralism, with respect to global nuclear disarmament, your conclusion should reflect hope. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि nuke free world is not possible and nuclear war is on the cards and world there is no hope and optimism coming out from your आंसर्स. ऐसे आंसर्स नहीं लिखना. कंक्लूजन कभी भी पेसिमिज्म से नहीं होना चाहिए. कंक्लूजन हमेशा क्या होना चाहिए, फ्यूचरिस्टिक, ऑप्टिमिस्ट. अगर आप एडिटोरियल्स भी पढ़ते हो न्यूज़पेपर में, आप देखोगे whosoever is writing, whatever negativity the person who has written the editorial has shown, but in the end they will always show hope for the better future. तो आपका जो आंसर है वो प्रोग्रेसिव होना चाहिए. ठीक है, वो क्वाड्रेंट तो याद है सबको, बट देयर आर स्टूडेंट्स, जल्दी से समझ लो. You done foundation with me? Okay. You understand who is progressive? Okay. What do you think? तो चलो इसे कनेक्ट करते हैं फिलोसोफर से. What do you think? What kind of personality Aristotle was? Pragmatic, conservative or progressive? What do you think Plato was? Radical or progressive? कैसा था प्लेटो? नहीं पता. प्रोग्रेसिव नहीं था प्लेटो? देखो देखो, दो तरह के इंडिविजुअल होते हैं, सेटिस्फाइड, डिससेटिस्फाइड. Are you satisfied with the world? The world, the way it is? You are satisfied. You are satisfied with the way government is performing? No. If you become the prime minister with brute majority, 400 par, will you able to do things in a better way? Will you able to create a just society? You will try the way PM Modi is trying in a better way. Satisfied, dissatisfied, optimist, pessimist. ठीक है ना? Satisfied optimist, those who are satisfied with the things and are hopeful about the future, they are progressive. Was Plato satisfied with the things which were prevailing in Athens? नहीं था वो. What kind of political system was there in Athens? Democracy. सब याद करके आई है. Good. Democracy था. And what suggestion he gave? To reform the democracy, but a different type of political system altogether. Different type of political system. He was dissatisfied, but he is giving a solution. Solution in the form of philosopher king. Those who are dissatisfied but optimists, they are radical. So Plato came up with the idea of philosopher king. Radical idea. He came up with the theory of communism. No private property. Radical idea. He came up with the idea of education for the girl. उस टाइम पे कितनी बड़ी बात थी. That's why he is showing the shades of first feminist. He is radical. Was Aristotle was in the favor of the education of the woman? He was not even ready to give citizenship to women. Was Plato satisfied with the things which were prevailing at that time in Athens? In which sense? What issue Aristotle was having? Aristotle emerged as mainly the critic of Plato, and Aristotle supported what? Polity. He supported polity. He said reform. In that way he was progressive, but he was supporting the institution of property. He was supporting the institution of slavery. Yes. So he was conservative, and that's why he has faced the wrath of whom? Feminist. So how Aristotle come across as a personality? He is showing shades of both progressive and conservative. He is supporting the institutions. Those who wants to change the institutions altogether, they are radicals. तो प्लेटो कैसा आ रहा है सामने हमारे? रेडिकल. और एरिस्टोटल कैसा आ रहा है? कंजर्वेटिव एंड प्रोग्रेसिव इन फ्यू एस्पेक्ट. ठीक है ना? और ये होते हैं फॉर इंफॉर्मेशन, दोज हु आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दिस. यू आर डिससेटिस्फाइड ऑल्सो, you are pessimist also. What kind of personality you are? And your answers in mains should not reflect ever this aspect. और इंटरव्यू में तो आपको कभी ऐसा साउंड कर ही नहीं सकते. यू कांट अफोर्ड टू साउंड डिससेटिस्फाइड एंड पेसिमिस्ट. ठीक है? दे आर रिग्रेसिव, और एक्सट्रीम रिग्रेसिव बिकम्स टेररिस्ट और नक्सल्स. So for these people, Prime Minister Modi used the word Andolanjeevi in parliament. They only do one thing, they protest. So if you ask them, okay, you take things in your hand and make them better, they will run away. They are ready to take things in their hand, and they are ready to work hard to make things better. So youth should always be progressive, radical also. ठीक है ना? All revolutions in the world are led by whom? Radicals. Youth. Old age कैसी होती है? Conservative. ठीक है ना? Youth कैसा होता है? Progressive होता है. ठीक है ना? सुना होगा आपने. Youth की हिंदी क्या होती है? युवा. और युवा का उल्टा क्या होता है? वायु. वायु मतलब हवा, जिसे रोका ना जा सके. ठीक है ना? तो यूथ की एनर्जी होती है जो चेंज लेके आती है. ठीक है? तो आपका आंसर का कंक्लूजन कैसा होना चाहिए? प्रोग्रेसिव. रेडिकल भी हो सकता है, बट हमेशा सजेशंस फॉर रिफॉर्म्स. जीएस में तो बहुत हेल्प करती है ये बात. आपका हमेशा आंसर क्या सजेस्ट करे? सम रिफॉर्म. ठीक है ना? शुड कम अक्रॉस एज अ पर्सन हु इज हैविंग सम सॉल्यूशन. ठीक है? जैसे इंडिया पाकिस्तान, इज इट पॉसिबल टू सॉल्व द इशू ऑफ कश्मीर? अच्छा चलो उससे पहले आप लोग आंसर, आपने तो सुनी हुई है ना ये बातें, इनको आंसर करने दो. Why we have not been able to solve Kashmir till date? Do you think we have tried our best to have a amicable solution of the issue of Kashmir? No. ऐसा कैसा कहेगा यार? ऐसा आप नहीं कहना अफोर्ड कर सकते. You have to say we have tried our best to have a amicable solution of the issue. ठीक है ना? तो इसका मतलब आपने अभी क्रोनोलॉजी ऑफ इंडिया पाकिस्तान रिलेशन सही से पढ़ा नहीं है. सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस, चलो आंसर करो. Notes get uploaded. Which notes, Riya? Okay, since independence, what all has been done by us to have a amicable solution for the issue of Kashmir? क्या किया हमने इंडिपेंडेंस से लेके आज तक? मुझे लगता है कि मुझे पेपर 2 ना पढ़ाना पड़ जाए. I'm afraid, which I don't want to. What all has been done by us to have an amicable solution of this, of the issue of Kashmir since independence? हाँ देखो, आप ये कहोगे ना सर, it was we who went to UN and it was we who were showing the trust on international institutions. ठीक है ना? Despite we being the stronger state, we don't want the military solution. After the 65 war, which was started by Pakistan, in Shimla agreement, we gave the territories back. After 71 war, we gave the almost POK back. पता है ना ये बात शिमला एग्रीमेंट में? फिर ठीक, it is we who only acquired the weapon technology. It is we who acquired weapon in 98, weaponized the technology, and it is we who came up with the nuclear doctrine. It is we who always initiated peace talks from Agra summit to Lahore declaration, and in Shimla agreement we accepted it's a bilateral issue which needs to be resolved through peaceful negotiations and discussions. ठीक है ना? So still we have not been able to solve. Why we have not been able to solve? क्या कहोगे? ठीक है. हाँ, so this is how you have to say na. So till the time democracy will not be stable on the other side of the border, amicable solution will be a bleak possibility. As per which theory of international nation? डेमोक्रेटिक पीस थ्योरी. तो ये आप इंटरलिंक करोगे ना बातों को, ऐसे लिखना है आपको. तो एज पर डीपीटी, टिल द टाइम डेमोक्रेसी विल नॉट बी स्टेबल, on the other side it will remain a bleak possibility, and the institution who holds power is least interested in a amicable solution because trouble is in their interest. इसके बाद तो वर्ड्स हैं, थीम समझ आनी चाहिए पहले तो हमें. और एक मैंने आपको वर्ड दिया था, लीगल इंस्टीट्यूशनल और जुडियो इंपेरिकल स्टेटहुड. और टेक्निकल टाइम में टेक्निकल वर्ड्स में जाना, मैं बता दूंगा क्या होता है. ठीक है ना? एंड पाकिस्तान इज नॉट अ एक्चुअल एम्पेरिकल स्टेट, ओनली इट्स अ लीगल जुरिडिकल स्टेट. बस ऐसे लिख दो आप. तो इस तरीके से आपको आंसर्स लिखने हैं जहां पर ये समझ आए कि यू हैव द क्लैरिटी. जैसे हमने की हुई है बात, साक इज नॉट फंक्शनल, साक इज नॉट डायनामिक, right? Always we have tried to make comparisons between SAARC, ASEAN and EU. What is the biggest challenge of SAARC? वही, what is the biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge? तो हमें इंडिया पाकिस्तान का लगता है, इंडिया पाकिस्तान fissures are the reason. No, the instability which prevails in the region. अभी हमने नेपाल में क्या देखा? जेन जी प्रोटेस्ट. बांग्लादेश में हमने क्या देखा? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल क्राइसिस है. श्रीलंका में 2009 तक सिविल वॉर चल रही है. ठीक है? मालदीव की पॉलिटिक्स स्टेबल नहीं है. पाकिस्तान का पता नहीं है. अफगानिस्तान में भी तालिबान है जिसको लेजिटिमेसी नहीं है. तो कहां से सार्क फंक्शनल और डायनेमिक होगा? सो व्हाट इज द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज ऑफ सार्क इज पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी इन द रीजन. ये सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है. और यू कैन से नो स्टेबल डेमोक्रेसी इन द रीजन. ओनली कंट्री वेयर डेमोक्रेसी हैज सर्वाइव्ड इन इंडिया इज इंडिया, एंड इंडिया इज नोन एज द आइलैंड ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी आउटसाइड वेस्ट। और ये तो हमारे टॉपिक का क्वेश्चन है, व्हाई डेमोक्रेसी हैज सर्वाइव्ड इन इंडिया, and there are multiple reasons for the survival of democracy in India, and that's why we say roots of democracy lies deep in India, and it's not an imported institution. India is a mother of democracy, ठीक है ना। और इसमें आप किस स्कॉलर का नाम यूज कर सकते हो? अमर्त्य सेन, आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव इंडिया। And if you see the Buddhist council, they were democratic. So democracy is not a imported institution. That's how you have to impart connectivity, and your conclusion should reflect your optimism. ठीक है ना? उटोपियन नहीं होना चाहिए, ऑप्टिमिज्म होना चाहिए, ठीक? That we will make things better. So today we are going to discuss Plato, Aristotle, and Machiavelli. So have you revised these three philosophers before coming to the class? No. So we'll give you a few questions, a quick revision of these philosophers and their ideas. And for tomorrow, you have to come revising Hobbes, Locke, and Mill. Rousseau revise kar lena, Hobbes, Locke, and Mill. And guys, if you have problem with the notes, you can directly reach out to me. I'll give you the notes of whichever section you feel you do not have the proper notes with you. If you have done foundation, wherever you have done, and you are writing your mains and you are falling short of notes, you can directly reach out to me. Content should not be a problem. और फोमो नहीं करना है मेंस लिखते हुए, सबसे बड़ी चीज कि मेरे पास ये नहीं है या वो नहीं है, मेरा ये छूट रहा है। बहुत कुछ छूटेगा आपका, इनसे पूछ लेना मेंस लिख के आए पिछली बार, हाँ, तो बहुत कुछ छूटेगा। परफेक्ट प्रिपरेशन नहीं होती। तो हमारे दिमाग में एक, क्योंकि स्कूल और यूनिवर्सिटी एग्जाम्स हमने दिए हैं, तो हमने वो कैसे दिए हैं, पूरा सिलेबस खत्म करके दिए हैं। तो वो एक स्ट्रक्चर बना हुआ है, completion of syllabus and then we'll go into the examination hall. In UPSC it will never work like this, ठीक है ना? So you need to learn to live with this entropy, that syllabus, you will never be able to finish the syllabus. So whatever you have done, again consolidation, how much you remember, that is more important, ठीक? So जो नहीं याद है या भूल रहे हो, कोई बात नहीं, जितना याद है बहुत है। हाँ जी, वो आपका अपना स्टाइल हो सकता है प्रिपरेशन का, कि सर मुझे शॉर्ट नोट्स बनाने हैं, या मुझे कैसे पढ़ना है, या मैं बस नोट्स ही पढ़ लिया है वही मेरे लिए बहुत है। वो आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है। नेसेसरी कुछ नहीं होता। कोई यूपीएससी ने गाइडलाइन नहीं दी है कि आप शॉर्ट नोट्स बना के मेंस लिखो, आपको जैसे याद हो जाए। सबकी अपनी अपनी मेमोरी है, कुछ की फोटोजेनिक मेमोरी होती है, देख लिया याद हो गया। कुछ लोगों की मेमोरी याद होती ही नहीं है, कितना ही पढ़ लो याद नहीं हो रहा। तो अलग अलग। यू बिलीव इन नेचुरल इक्वालिटी, इट इज नेचुरल इनइक्वालिटी, ठीक है ना? सो वी ऑल आर डिफरेंट एंड यू हैव टू फाइंड योर ओन वे टू रिमेंबर थिंग्स, ठीक है ना? हाउ इट विल वर्क फॉर यू, इन द एंड यू हैव टू रिमेंबर। आप देखो आपको कैसे याद होता है। बहुत एग्जाम्स दिए हैं आज तक आपने। एनी क्वेश्चन यू हैव रिगार्डिंग प्लेटो? ठीक है, व्हाट आर द मेन कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑफ प्लेटो? His theory of idea, his theory of idea came as theory of forms in mains, last to last year. तो याद रखना, theory of idea and theory of form one and the same, ठीक? What he wanted to tell from his theory of idea? There are two types of scholars in our subject, scholars or philosophers, idealist and materialist. For idealist, idea is real. For materialist, matter is real, ठीक है ना? What you can see is real. For idealist, what you are seeing is a illusion. Okay, something else is important, something else is real. To understand idea, what is required is reason, tark. तो तर्क से ही आइडिया समझ आएगा. There is no other way to understand idea. So the way to understand idea is reason. Way to understand matter is observation. So through observation you understand matter, through reason you understand idea, ठीक? So what Plato wanted to tell from his theory of idea? क्या प्लेटो बताना चाहता था? What he wanted to tell from his theory of idea? What he wanted to tell, he wanted to give a message to the ruling class that they are running towards money, and they are under, for idealist materialist are under false consciousness, and for materialist idealist are spreading उल्टा बोला नहीं, for idealist materialist are under ignorance, and for materialist idealist are spreading false consciousness. ठीक है ना? So for materialist idealist spreading false consciousness, for idealist materialist are under ignorance. So ruling class is under ignorance. So through his theory of idea, what he wanted to, what message he wanted to give? The message he wanted to give to the ruling class that they are under ignorance. What they think is real is not real. Now for Plato, who can understand idea? One who has reason. Who has this reason? For according to Plato, philosopher king. Where lies the reason? Soul. So his theory of soul. So through his theory of soul, he said, not everyone is equal. There people are different. People are born different. There are three elements, that is reason, courage, and appetite. Okay. Only man of reason can understand what is real, and that person is eligible to become philosopher king. How to find philosopher king? Through his theory of education. And to make sure philosopher king should not turn corrupt, he has come up with a theory of communism. ठीक? What is the idea? What is theory? बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, इनको थ्योरी का मतलब भी जान लो मेन से आपका. व्हाट इज थ्योरी? ठीक है, थ्योरी, थॉट, आइडियोलॉजी, जो हमारा नेक्स्ट चैप्टर है. इट इज फॉर दोज हु हैव नॉट डन फाउंडेशन विद मी. हु इज फिलोसोफर? ये पता है फिलोसोफर कौन होता है? हाउ यू डिफाइन समवन एज फिलोसोफर? Philosophy as a word comes from Sophia. Okay, philos plus Sophia. Sophia is knowledge, philos is love. Those who have love for knowledge are philosophers. Philosophers gives idea. If you are giving idea with the objective to acquire power, it is ideology. So was Plato a philosopher or an ideologue? Contested है. अगर हम Karl Popper is a scholar. So scholars has analyzed the work of philosophers, and according to Popper, we are under the spell of Plato. If we somehow assume this, that Plato is giving all these ideas with the objective to become philosopher king, then we have to see Plato in the light of ideologue, because we genuinely consider he was from aristocracy class. He was not having love for power. He was having love for knowledge, and he has given detached ideas. That's why we are seeing him as philosopher. We are seeing all of them as philosophers because we believe they are not aspiring for power. So ideas given with the objective to acquire power becomes ideologies. ठीक? So detached ideas are theories. Detached idea is philosophy. Systematic explanation of idea is theory. What is theory? Systematic explanation of idea. जैसे justice is an idea. Different people have given different idea of justice, and they have given systematic explanation of their idea. It becomes theory of justice. Plato's theory of justice, Aristotle's theory of justice. Gandhi has not given a theory of justice. But if I ask you, what is just state for Gandhi? क्या कहोगे? राम राज्य. Stateless society. What is just state for Marx? Stateless, classless society. What is just state for Ambedkar? Casteless society. ठीक है ना? So Rawls' idea of justice. Idea of justice has changed in time and space. So change of idea in time and space is thought. So what is political thought? Change of idea in time and space. What is ideology? Idea given with the objective to acquire power is ideology. ठीक है. Theory of education means उसकी idea of education का systematic explanation. ठीक है. What is Plato's idea of justice? Functional specialization. Functional specialization and non-interference. Doing one's duty. So the people in the state of Plato, they are subjects or citizens. क्योंकि ये थ्योरी ऑफ सिटीजनशिप में हम यूज करेंगे. तो प्लेटो की जो स्टेट है उसमें जो लोग रह रहे हैं वो सब्जेक्ट्स हैं या सिटीजन्स हैं? सब्जेक्ट्स हैं. सिटीजन्स हैव राइट्स. व्हाइल प्लेटो इज नॉट गिविंग एनी राइट. प्लेटो इज सेइंग एवरीवन टू डू देयर ड्यूटी. इवन फिलोसोफर किंग इज डूइंग इट्स ड्यूटी. एंड फॉर प्लेटो, आंसर करो, फॉर प्लेटो, if you will not do your duty, so now I'm going to speak in the terminology of political science. What is the reason for political obligation towards state according to Plato? Jyoti. For Plato, what is the reason according to Plato for the political obligation towards the state? आप पूछ रहे थे ना कनेक्शंस कैसे बनाना है, ऐसे बनाने हैं. व्हाट इज द रीजन? मान लो क्वेश्चन आया पेपर में पॉलिटिकल ऑब्लिगेशन. सो व्हाट इज द रीजन फॉर पॉलिटिकल ऑब्लिगेशन टुवर्ड्स द स्टेट अकॉर्डिंग टू प्लेटो? अब बोल. Your soul will not be satisfied. So I hope you remember Plato has given the example. What Socrates was an imaginary figure, but he chose to drink hemlock poison, but not to defy the state. तो बहुत ध्यान से सुनो ये बात फिर से, जिन्होंने सुनी भी है पहले भी. Plato was against the political system. Plato was not against state. Who is against state? मार्क्स आएगा स्टेट के अगेंस्ट. प्लेटो स्टेट के अगेंस्ट नहीं है, प्लेटो पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम के अगेंस्ट है. और प्लेटो क्या कह रहा है? योर सोल विल नॉट बी सेटिस्फाइड. और सोल क्या है? रियल है या आइडिया है? सो फॉर मेटीरियलिस्ट मार्क्स, आइडियलिस्ट हैज स्प्रेड फॉल्स कॉन्शियसनेस. भ्रम है, मत सुनो इनकी. समझ आई बात? सो योर सोल विल नॉट बी सेटिस्फाइड. ये कौन कह रहा है? प्लेटो कह रहा है. पॉलिटिकल ऑब्लिगेशन. अब जो पूछूंगा वो तो आंसर दे देगा फॉर श्योर. हीगल क्या कह रहा है? व्हाई यू शुड फॉलो स्टेट ऑफ गॉड. ये बोल दिया ना मैंने, को पता ये आंसर दे देगा. अब जो पूछूंगा वो नहीं देगा. एरिस्टोटल क्या कह रहा है? व्हाई यू शुड फॉलो स्टेट. वो तो हॉब्स कह रहा है. और मुझे पता था अगला मैं हॉब्स पूछूंगा तो आंसर दे देगा. बिकॉज हॉब्स सेड यू शुड फॉलो स्टेट बिकॉज स्टेट एंश्योर्स सिक्योरिटी. व्हाई यू शुड फॉलो स्टेट अकॉर्डिंग टू एरिस्टोटल? हाँ जी इंस्पेक्टर साहब, रिजाइन नहीं करना है अभी, ठीक है. हाँ जी ज्योति, व्हाई यू शुड फॉलो स्टेट अकॉर्डिंग टू एरिस्टोटल? मोनिका, to fulfill all the needs. Only who can survive without state? Beast or God. That's why you should follow state. फिर हॉब्स क्या कह रहा है? क्यों फॉलो करना है स्टेट को? सिक्योरिटी ऑफ लाइफ. लॉक क्या कह रहा है? क्यों फॉलो करना है स्टेट को? लाइफ, लिबर्टी एंड प्रॉपर्टी. तो पॉलिटिकल ऑब्लिगेशन में सब लिखोगे या नहीं लिखोगे? और मार्क्स क्या कहेगा? करना ही नहीं है. स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी है, रिवोल्ट अगेंस्ट स्टेट एंड आइडियलिस्ट हैज स्प्रेड फॉल्स कॉन्शियसनेस. ये आपका कंक्लूजन होगा, ठीक है. और रूसो क्या कहेगा? क्यों फॉलो करना है? जनरल विल फॉलो करना है फॉर हैप्पीनेस. लिखना है लिखो, नहीं तो ये भी बहुत है. तो पॉलिटिकल ऑब्लिगेशन में आप ये सारी बातें लिखोगे, ठीक है. मार्क्स के और गांधी के बोथ आर एनार्किस्ट. For Gandhi also stateless society, for Marx also stateless society. ठीक है ना? So Aristotle's idea of justice is, Plato's idea of justice is functional specialization and non-interference. तो अब आपको पता थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया. सो व्हाट इज द पर्पस, क्या पर्पस है उसकी थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया का? To teach the ruling class what is the meaning of real happiness or to create an ideal state. ये बात लिखो गया. थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया तो एक एस्पेक्ट है. व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ हिज थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया? To teach the ruling class what is real happiness, or he has given this with the objective to create Athens an ideal state. ठीक. इसका जस्ट स्टेट बनाना था. So every philosopher is known by their central idea. So what is the central idea of Plato? His theory of justice. तो Plato का central idea है justice. So first person to deliberate on this idea of justice was Plato. Justice क्या है, न्याय क्या है, ठीक है ना? What is the central idea of Aristotle? Constitutionalism, that is polity, rule of law, father of constitutionalism. Aristotle, central idea is rule of law. His theory of constitution, state to be governed through written set of laws. Many people deliberating together is better. What is central idea of Machiavelli? Dual morality or father of realism. ठीक. What is central idea of Hobbes? Theory of sovereignty. Sovereignty at one place. What is the most important element of state? Sovereignty out of 4 elements. So who has given the theory of sovereignty? Hobbes. ठीक है ना? Modern nation state emerged with the Treaty of Westphalia. And who has given the theory of sovereignty? Hobbes. This make याद रखना, Machiavelli is the scholar of Renaissance and Hobbes is the first modern political thinker. So who has tried to use scientific methods? Hobbes. And who has given theory of sovereignty and ended the confusion of two sorts? Hobbes. This makes Hobbes the first modern political thinker. हम करेंगे ये भी बात. Machiavelli is father of European secularism. He separated church from state. But Hobbes established absolute sovereignty. ठीक. What is the central idea of Locke? Theory of natural rights. That man was enjoying rights in the state of nature. That is life, liberty and property. What is the central idea of Mill? Liberty. If anyone is liberal, it is Mill. ठीक है ना? And it was he who gave precedence to liberty over utility. ठीक है ना? ये बातें मैं समझाऊंगा पढ़ाने के लिए. जिन्होंने फाउंडेशन नहीं पढ़ा उनको आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर दे आर क्लियर विद दिस एस्पेक्ट और नॉट. मिल के बाद कौन है? मार्क्स. सेंट्रल आइडिया ऑफ मार्क्स इज कम्युनिज्म. सेंट्रल आइडिया ऑफ ग्रेम्सी इज आइडियोलॉजिकल डोमिनेशन और हेgemony. And central idea of Hanna is civic republicanism. These are the central ideas of these philosophers. ठीक है. प्लेटो में कुछ ऐसा है जो आपको पूछना हो? Who is the biggest critic of Plato? What all Aristotle has criticized about Plato? Huh? Yes. So he is against the institution of philosopher king. एक second. So, what is the quote given by Plato in favor of the institution of philosopher king or in his theory of philosopher king? अरे प्लेटो ने क्या कोट दिया है? No law or ordinances no law or ordinance is mightier than knowledge. what is the quote given by Aristotle? Law is ordinance without, law is reason without passion. ठीक है, so law is reason without passion पे शॉर्ट नोट अब वैसे ऐसे आता नहीं है. वन मोर कोट गिवन बाय एरिस्टोटल टू काउंटर द थ्योरी ऑफ फिलोसोफर किंग. व्हाट इज दैट कोट? अथॉरिटी ऑफ स्टेट्समैन इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम फादर. सुना ये कोट? सुना है कोट? authority of statesman is different from the authority of father. So this is the quote given by Aristotle. What Aristotle is saying in this quote? Authority of statesman is different from father, that within the family whose authority is supreme? Father. So he is creating which kind of society? Patriarchal society, and that's why he is going to face criticism from feminists. But he is saying state is different from family, and within the state there cannot be authority of one person. Authority of statesman is different from father. Authority of master is supreme over slave. Authority of father is supreme over the family. But within the state there cannot be authority of single individual. ठीक है? So who for the first time separated political from non-political? Aristotle. So he, within the non-political sphere, within the family sphere, he is giving supreme authority to whom? Father. But in the political sphere, he is not giving a supreme authority to one person. So who for the first time separated political from non-political? Aristotle. And who want personal is political? Feminist. For them, first exploitation women face within the family. ठीक है ना? Do liberals want state to interfere within the personal sphere? No. Do feminists want state to interfere within the personal sphere? Yes. ठीक. So जो quote था, authority of statesman is different from the authority of father. एक कोट लिख लो, ये सेम क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, आंसर सेम रहेगा. अथॉरिटी ऑफ स्टेटमेंट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम फादर, सिर्फ क्वेश्चन की लैंग्वेज चेंज कर रहा हूं. लिखो, एरिस्टोटल ड्रू अ क्लियर लाइन between the authority of a master and the authority exercised in a political community. Comment or elaborate. अच्छा, दूसरा ये कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है, ये जो लास्ट में आपसे ओनली लेट्स से comment on something. Comment is your personal opinion. When you comment, you do write both sides. Critical analysis means you have to write both sides. ठीक है? So these words you should not be confused. Your focus should be on the question quote which has been asked. So Aristotle drew a clear line between the authority of a master and the authority exercised in a political community. So what he is saying, master have a complete authority over its slaves, but within the state not a single individual can have a complete authority. Basically this quote is imparting criticism to the theory of philosopher king of Plato. So first thing which Aristotle criticized about Plato is his theory of philosopher king हो गया. Second ground on which Aristotle criticized Plato. अब एग्जाम में जाते हुए आपके दिमाग में कितनी जल्दी ये पॉइंट्स आते हैं? ये डिसाइड करेगा आपका मेंस कि एरिस्टोटल ने किन किन ग्राउंड्स पे प्लेटो को क्रिटिसाइज किया है। तो देखते हैं, जैसे स्टार्ट किया हमने, यहाँ से स्टार्ट करते हैं, है ना। हाँ जी, तो एक तो हो गया, एरिस्टोटल हैज क्रिटिसाइज्ड द इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ फिलोसोफर किंग। सेकंड ग्राउंड ऑन विच एरिस्टोटल क्रिटिसाइज्ड प्लेटो। हाँ, सो वी कैन से प्लेटो वाज रेडिकल, ही इज कंजर्वेटिव, बट ये तो अलग एस्पेक्ट हो गया ना। ऑन ग्राउंड्स ऑन विच ही हैज क्रिटिसाइज्ड प्लेटो, Plato was against private property, but he supported private property. He said property is a reason for motivation. In fact, for Plato, who are man of reason? Reason is in soul. For him, who holds reason? One who have property. This is the reason. I hope you understand. If we say Plato as idealist, we say Aristotle as pragmatic. Pragmatic because he was both idealist plus materialist. On which grounds we are saying he is materialist? How we can say he is materialist? नहीं नहीं, materialist कैसे हम उसे कह रहे हैं? For him, who is having reason? One who have property. So he's saying, when he's saying, Plato is saying reality is the shadow of idea. What all you are saying is not real. Real is something else. But to give his ideas, Aristotle is looking into where? Matter. He has given theory of slavery. ध्यान से सुनो. He has given theory of slavery. Theory क्या होती है? Systematic explanation of idea. So his idea of slavery lies where? In matter. He is saying those who have property, they are masters, and those who do not have, they are slaves. Those who have property, they have reason. So Plato's reason lies where? Soul, which you can't see. Aristotle reasons lies where? Property. बात समझ में आई या नहीं? He is giving his theories looking into matter. He is not saying that everything lies beyond this world. He is saying to understand this world, you have to look into the world. He is giving his theory of constitution. Theory of constitution क्या होती है? Systematic explanation of idea. And to give his theory of constitution, he is reading 150 constitution. So to give his theory, he is looking into where? Matter. This makes him materialist. बात समझ में आई? What makes him idealist? This does not make him idealist. He believes in organic theory of state. Idealist believes in two theories for the origin of state, which is not in our syllabus. Divine theory, Hegel, or organic theory, Socratic tradition. State is organic whole. Whole is more important than part. ठीक है? This makes him idealist because he believes in organic theory of state. So he is a pragmatic scholar, as he is both idealist and materialist. For Plato, everything real lies beyond this world, metaphysical. For him, nothing lies beyond this world, है ना? Idea for Plato, idea is independent of matter, right? For Aristotle, there is nothing outside this world. And to understand this world, you have to look into the world. Idea is not independent of matter. Idea is independent of matter for Plato. Idea is not independent of matter for Aristotle. He is, for him, ideas are present in the matter itself. His theory of slavery in the matter. ठीक है ना? Those who have property, they have reason. For him, property is a source of virtue. Right? So he is against the theory of philosopher king. He is against the theory of property of Plato. Any other thing which he is against of Plato? He is against the idea of the institution of family of Plato. For Plato, no private property, no private family. For him, family is also an institution of virtue. Okay. Family is a source of happiness. What is Aristotelian idea of justice? What is Aristotelian idea of justice? क्या proportion is justice? Aristotle has given two dimensions of justice. Which two dimensions? Distributive, remedial, or rectificatory. And he has given the principle of proportion. That's why his theory of justice is also known as proportionate justice. See? But he has not delved deep into the idea of justice. What is his idea of justice? Equals to be treated equally, and equals and unequals should not be treated equally. ठीक है? This is his idea of justice. ठीक? Do we consider his idea of justice as justice in the present times? No. ठीक है ना? As state is trying to impart social and economic equality. ठीक है ना? Right, the first question on Plato. You have to make structures in the class. ठीक है ना? Pointers only. देखो, one can either be Platonic or non-Platonic. Non-Platonic or anti-Platonic. But one can never be non-Platonic. Sorry. Yes, लिखो, one can either be Platonic or anti-Platonic, but one can never be non-Platonic. ठीक? Examine. Who has given this quote? Popper. क्या क्या लिखोगे पॉइंट्स इसमें? सोचो सोचो. Who said Plato is philosophy and philosophy is Plato? Plato is philosophy and philosophy is Plato. किसने कहा था ये बात? अब याद नहीं आया मान लो नाम, ठीक है? प्री में नहीं आता तो खत्म. यहाँ पे someone said Plato is philosophy and philosophy is Plato. मेंस में एटलीस्ट इतना तो है ना, एग्जाम लगेगा हाँ एमर्सन का नाम भूल गए तो भूल गए, कोई बात नहीं. तो ये फर्क है मेंस में. नहीं याद आया, नहीं आया. Plato is philosophy. Philosophy is Plato. It has been said about Plato that he is philosophy. This is the position he held in the Western philosophy, that Plato is philosophy and philosophy is Plato, and he is known as the father of political philosophy because he has given first political idea of ideal state. तो political philosophy क्या हुई? Political idea हुआ. Who is father of philosophy? Socrates. Who is father of political philosophy? Plato. ठीक है. So what all Plato has given, which makes him that once you have read Plato, you can't be non-Platonic. ठीक है ना. एंटी तो हो सकते हो, नॉन नहीं हो सकते. So this quote given by Popper, ऐसे लिख सकते हैं ना, that whether we like or hate Plato, but we cannot remain indifferent to Plato, and such is the magic of Plato. ये point हो गया. Plato is known as the father of political philosophy, and as said by Emerson, Plato is philosophy and philosophy is Plato. ठीक है. Entire Western philosophy is the footnotes of Plato and Aristotle. किसने कहा? व्हाइट हेड ने, सफेद सर. ठीक है ना. व्हाइट हेड नाम याद आए? ठीक, नहीं तो कोई बात नहीं. ठीक. It was Plato who gave the theory of idea. ठीक है ना. In which he said that knowledge of idea is superior to knowledge of matter. ठीक. He has given the theory of education, and his book is being seen as the best book on the education by Rousseau. ठीक है ना. Plato's greatness is acknowledged not by his supporters but even by his critics. ठीक है ना. And this is what said by Karl Popper. You cannot remain indifferent to Plato, and such is the magic of Plato. ठीक है ना. इसमें आप ये लाइन भी लिख सकते हो. Plato's objective was to make Athens an ideal state, and he analyzed the reason for the downfall of Athens is corruption, and this still holds true as one of the biggest threat for many of the societies and the state is corruption. ये पॉइंट भी आप लिख सकते हो. हाँ, नॉन, ये आप सब तो आप प्लेटोनिक और नॉन प्लेटोनिक, आप प्लेटो की नॉन प्लेटोनिक इन द सेंस यू डू नॉट बिलीव इन द इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ फिलोसोफर किंग. ठीक है ना. वी बिलीव इन रूल ऑफ लॉ. थ्रेट इज this institution can turn state into totalitarian authoritarian state. ठीक है. You want state to be governed through rule of law rather than Platonian idea of the institution of philosopher king. You do not believe in the theory of communism of property and family, as property is an institution of virtue and family do give emotional stability, as said by Aristotle. The kind of state created by Aristotle will take back to the barbaric ages. आप ये पॉइंट भी लिख सकते हो. तो मेंस का दिमाग अलग तरीके से चलेगा, प्री का दिमाग अलग तरीके से चलता है. तो जब आप एग्जाम में बैठो तो आपको सडनली पॉइंट्स आने चाहिए, क्या लिखना है, इसके आंसर कैसे बनेगा. तो नियर अबाउट 7 मिनट्स होते हैं. ठीक है ना. सबसे बड़ा चैलेंजिंग होता है 5 पार्ट्स का जो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन होता है. ठीक. तो नियर अबाउट यू ऑल वी ऑलवेज हैव 7 मिनट्स. 1.5 minute you should make structure, controlling your nerves, and then you should write. This is what my recommendation is. हमेशा जब प्रिपेयर भी करोगे तो पहला 1.5 minute स्ट्रक्चर मेकिंग में स्पेंड करो. एक बार स्ट्रक्चर बन गया, लिख तो आप 5 मिनट में भी दोगे. ठीक है ना. विदाउट स्ट्रक्चर लिखोगे तो हैफिजार्ड लिख दोगे. So first think of structure and then frame an answer. Then write an answer. First frame it. ये मेरा इंट्रो होगा छोटा सा, ये मेरा कंक्लूजन होगा. These are the scholars I remember and this is how I'm going to frame my answer. देखो, reality is shadow of ideas. Reality is shadow of idea. Full stop. In the light of this statement, analyze Plato's theory of idea. करो. देखो, जब मेंस का पेपर हाथ में आएगा, मैं अपने 3 मेंस का जितना मुझे याद है, जैसे ही मेंस का पेपर हाथ में आएगा, आपको लगेगा कुछ भी नहीं आता. जिन्हें मेंस दिया है वो रिलेट कर सकते हैं. हार्डली 1-2 क्वेश्चंस होंगे जो लगता है अरे यार आता है. फिर कुछ लगेंगे डुएबल हैं, कुछ लगेंगे यार कुछ भी नहीं है तो हो गया. बट धीरे धीरे आप जब बैठोगे आराम से, एवरीथिंग इज इन द माइंड, यू हैव रेड द होल सिलेबस. और एक और चीज़, सबका सेम हाल होता है वहाँ पर. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके लिए मुश्किल हो रहा है, सबके लिए मुश्किल है. दिस इज द कॉम्पिटिशन. प्री देके पता चल ही गया होगा, आपका कितना भी खराब हो जाए, औरों का भी खराब ही हो रहा है. ठीक है ना. सो इट इज़ द टॉप 10,000, 11,000 इन प्री हु विल बी सिलेक्टेड. सेम इज विद द मेंस. कट ऑफ नीचे चली जाएगी, पेपर बहुत टफ आ गया तो. इजी आया तो कट ऑफ हाई चली जाएगी. तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं घबराना. पेपर एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में एक बार बैठने के बाद, पहले दिन ही बता रहा हूँ. ठीक है. दूसरा, अपना पेन पर थोड़ा वर्क करना. जिस पेन से बहुत ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस करो, उसी पेन से अपना मेंस लिख के आना जिससे नोट्स बनाया है. ठीक है ना. ज़्यादा अंडरलाइंस के चक्कर में मत पड़ना. कुछ नहीं होता, ना टाइम होता है, ना हो पाएगा. ठीक है. बहुत कुछ लिखना होता है वहीं पर. एक दूसरा पेन ब्लैक से अगर कुछ लगा तो ज़्यादा यू कैन अंडरलाइन. वेर एवर यू कैन ड्रॉ फिगर्स एंड डायग्राम्स, always better. Avoid in optional, especially in political science. But yes, in paper 2, do make a lot of maps, India and the world map, while attempting your paper 2 part B. ठीक है ना. छोटा सा इंडिया मैप, छोटा सा वर्ल्ड मैप. हाँ. क्वाड लिख रहे हो तो पिवट टू एशिया, एशिया पैसिफिक को डिमार्केट कर दो. ठीक है ना. सार्क लिख रहे हो तो छोटा सा इंडिया मैप बना दो. राइट. वेस्ट एशियन डायनेमिक्स डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, साउथ एशियन डायनेमिक्स, तो छोटा सा वर्ल्ड मैप बना दो. ठीक है. तो मैप्स और फिगर्स पे जहां भी हो सकता है ज़रूर बनाओ, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द नीड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. जैसे इससे ये पैराग्राफ बेस्ड होगा, पॉइंटर बेस्ड नहीं होगा. ठीक है. प्रॉब्लम्स डिस्कशन करना है, रीजंस डिस्कशन करना है, पॉइंटर्स. ब्रॉडर रीजंस, जीपीएस टेक, हिस्टोरिकल, पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक, जोग्राफिक, जहां भी फिट कर सकते हैं उसे. ठीक है ना. UN problems, pointer. These are the grounds on which UN is being criticized. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the grounds why UN is relevant. This and then conclusion. ठीक है. So depending on the need of the question. चलो ये वाला क्वेश्चन करो. First thing, do you have to write his theory of idea? You have to analyze his theory of idea. Writing his theory of idea and analyzing his theory of idea, two different thing है. सेकेंड अटेम्प्ट में पता चलता है मेंस में. पहले में तो सब लोग थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया लिखाते हैं. थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया लिखना शुरू कर दिया था. reality is the shadow of idea. In the light of the statement, analyze Plato's theory of idea. So first, Plato's theory of idea is based on which theory? Socrates' theory of knowledge. First thing, Plato's theory of idea is based on Socrates' theory of knowledge, and it was Socrates who said knowledge of idea is superior to knowledge of matter. Through his theory of idea, his objective was to create Athens an ideal state, and he wanted to give the message to the ruling class that real happiness is serving the citizens. He explained his theory of idea with the help of allegory of cave, ठीक है ना, where he wanted to explain the ruling class they are under ignorance if they believe wealth is real, ठीक है. Plato, through his theory of idea, came up with the institution of philosopher king. Only man of reason can understand what is real. And he said the predicaments of the state or the human life will not end till the rulers are philosophers, ठीक है ना. So through his theory of idea, line लिखनी है लिख लो, through his theory of idea he established the supremacy of philosophy over physics, that is metaphysical over physical, that is ideas over material world. Through his theory of idea, Plato has established the supremacy of philosophy over physics or metaphysical over physical, that is ideas over material world, ठीक. So until philosophers are the rulers or rulers learn philosophy, there is no end to the predicament of human life. This is what he wanted to convey with his theory of ideas. Only those who can understand idea can make Athens an ideal state. अगर क्वेश्चन आया क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन प्लेटोज थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया और प्लेटोज थ्योरी ऑफ फॉर्म, क्या लिखोगे? क्रिटिकली एनालाइज प्लेटोज थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया और थ्योरी ऑफ फॉर्म्स. ये लास्ट टू लास्ट ईयर मेंस में आया था. लास्ट ईयर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया था प्लेटो से. देयर वाज नो क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम प्लेटो. सो क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन प्लेटोज थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया और थ्योरी ऑफ फॉर्म्स. तो इसमें क्या लिखेंगे? कैसे फॉल्स कॉन्शियसनेस? हाँ, ignoring materialism. So we cannot ignore material, as said by Aristotle, that not everything lies beyond this world. Okay, for Aristotle, ideas lies in this world. World of matter is not a world of illusion. ये pointers आएंगे इसमें. So who will emerge as the major critic of his theory of idea or form? Aristotle or materialist. ठीक है ना. वो तो इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ फिलोसोफर किंग का क्रिटिसिज्म है. यहां पर क्या आएगा क्रिटिकल एग्जामिन में? व्हेन ही विल से एरिस्टोटल For Plato, everything lies beyond this world. For Aristotle, there is nothing outside this world. We cannot ignore the importance of observation. ठीक है ना? Idea is not independent of matter. Idea is present in the matter itself. ठीक? We cannot ignore the physical world, just considering it as a world of illusions. So these pointers will come in critically analyze his theory of idea or theory of forms. ठीक है ना? We cannot ignore the physical world, just considering it as the world of illusion. ठीक? हाँ दे सकते हैं, हाँ दे सकते हैं. Analyze Plato's theory of idea. Yes, we can. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, दोनों सेम भी हो सकते हैं, कोई खास फर्क नहीं है. एक और क्वेश्चन लिखो. Plato's political program is far from being morally superior. Plato's political program is far from being morally superior to fascism, comma, is exactly identical to it. किसने दी है ये कोट? Popper. Plato as father of totalitarianism. Same answer. ठीक. Plato as first fascist. Same answer. Plato as enemy of open society. Same answer. ठीक है ना? So Plato's political program is far from being morally superior to fascism, is exactly identical to it. So Popper has written two volumes of the same book, Open Society and His Enemies. In first volume he has criticized Plato, second he has criticized Hegel and Marx. So Plato political program is superior to fascism, is exactly identical to it. क्या लिखेंगे इसमें? Basically we have to write the criticism to the institution of philosopher king. ठीक है ना? There is a fear that philosopher king can turn into authority. The Plato's just state can turn into a totalitarian state. इनको तो पता होना चाहिए. I hope they remember, they have done foundation. What is the difference? What can be a difference between a authoritarian state and a totalitarian state? Is there can be a difference between authoritarian and totalitarian, or both are the same? Can we use these two words interchangeably? No. How you consider the state of, let's say, Saudi Arabia is a authoritarian or a totalitarian? And how you see Afghanistan under Taliban? What is the difference? All aspects of life are being controlled, from political to personal. Even there is no liberty in personal sphere. State will decide everything. Your dress, the things you read, the way you live, your way of life will be determined by state. When only political rights are being taken from you, that is authoritarian. When no right is being given to you, then it is totalitarian. So Plato's state can turn into a totalitarian state. How? Controlling every aspect. No private family, no private property. Everyone has to do their duty. Okay. And live as per the whims of one person, that is philosopher king. So Plato becomes the father of totalitarianism. ठीक है ना? So which society can be seen as open society? What rights are being given in an open society? Speech and expression, freedom of speech and expression. ठीक है ना. एजुकेशन इज नॉट इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन. वहां पर क्या था, स्टेट स्पॉन्सर्ड या स्टेट कंट्रोल्ड एजुकेशन? स्टेट कंट्रोल्ड. स्टेट स्पॉन्सर्ड अलग है एजुकेशन, स्टेट कंट्रोल्ड एजुकेशन है. एंड द फियर ऑफ स्टेट कंट्रोल इज इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन. ठीक है ना. Please repeat. Plato's. For sure, the seeds of fascism are being sown by Plato, and that we'll discuss in the ideology of fascism. The precursor to fascist. Who all has influenced the ideas of fascists? That's why fascism is known as the hodgepodge of ideologies. That there is no sync in their thought process. From whom they have drawn inspiration other than Plato? Fascist. ये क्या हुआ, बंद हो गया. One is Plato. Second, Hegel. State is a march of God. Third, Rousseau. General will. General will is who can make you happy. Who can make you happy? State can, men can be forced to be free. Quote given by Rousseau. So concept of general will. Good. और रूसो के बाद निट्जे, concept of superman who can challenge conventional morality. और कोई? Hobbes, absolute sovereignty. ठीक है. लिखो एक क्वेश्चन. इससे मुश्किल क्वेश्चन तो मुझे नहीं लगता आ सकता है मेंस में, जो अब क्वेश्चन दे रहा हूं आपको. डिस्कस द एंड्यूरिंग इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ. डिस्कस द एंड्यूरिंग इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ प्लेटोनिक आइडियलिज्म. प्लेटोनिक आइडियलिज्म एंड एरिस्टोटेलियन empiricism. And Aristotelian empiricism on modern political thought. And scientific inquiry. और तीसरा एक और चीज, अभी आप दो फॉर नेक्स्ट 2.5 months यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर योर मेंस. तो डोंट थिंक कि ओहो मैं अभी तो इसका आंसर नहीं लिख पा रही तो मैं मेंस में कैसे. दिस इज द लर्निंग यू हैव स्टार्टेड. ठीक है ना. सो नाउ यू कांट राइट बट यू स्टिल हैव 2.5 months टू प्रिपेयर, देन यू कैन राइट. सो डू नॉट डेवलप दिस थिंग, ओ यार आज मैं नहीं लिख पा रही हूँ, कोई बात नहीं. हाँ, कोई 2 महीने बहुत होते हैं मेंस के लिए. डिस्कस द एंड्यूरिंग इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ प्लेटोनिक आइडियलिज्म and Aristotelian empiricism on modern political thought and scientific inquiry. क्या लिखोगे? हाँ सोचो सोचो, बिल्कुल सोचो. वेरी गुड, बिल्कुल सही. ठीक है. बहुत टाइम पर आंसर आपको बनाना पड़ेगा वहां बैठ के. ठीक है. Platonic idealism and Aristotelian empiricism. स्टार्ट कहां से कर सकते हैं? वो कैसे चलेगा ना. Enduring influence, Plato's idealism and Aristotelian empiricism. चलता आ रहा है. आइडियोलॉजीज याद हैं यार? एक तो ये उड़ गया. आइडियोलॉजी याद है? आइडियलिज्म, एंशियंट टाइम्स में कौन सी आइडियोलॉजी प्रिवेल कर रही थी? आइडियलिज्म। मॉडर्न टाइम्स में कौन सी आइडियोलॉजी आई? लिबरलिज्म। लिबरलिज्म ओवरशैडो किससे किया? यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म में, पोजेसिव इंडिविजुअलिज्म में, ठीक है ना, यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म। हु ब्रॉट आइडियलिज्म इनटू लिबरलिज्म और यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म टू डिस्ट्रॉय यूटिलिटेरियनिज्म एंड लेड टू द इमर्जेंस ऑफ वेलफेयर लिबरलिज्म? मिल। तो आइडियलिस्ट इन्फ्लुएंस लिबरल्स, आइडियलिज्म इन्फ्लुएंस लिबरल, idealist has influenced socialism. Whole is more important than part for socialist. Idealist influence fascist. So one idealism of Hegel goes to fascist. Idealism of Kant of dignity goes to liberals. And or Aristotelian imperialism on modern political thought and scientific. Aristotelian imperialism led to the emergence of behavioral revolution, scientific approaches. ठीक है ना? तो entire Western philosophy is nothing but a footnotes of Plato and Aristotle. Start तो यहाँ से होगा. तो structure क्या होगा? Entire Western philosophy is nothing but a footnotes to Plato and Aristotle. Second line लिखो. The interplay between Platonic idealism and Aristotelian imperialism has shaped the course of Western thought. Course of Western thought. These two traditions have not only shaped our understanding of knowledge. For Plato, what is real knowledge? Knowledge of idea. For Aristotle, what is real knowledge? Matter. ठीक है ना? So, have not only shaped our understanding of knowledge, but have also fostered a dialectic. Fostered a dialectic that continues to derive intellectual progress. लिखो next bullet point. Plato's idealism have inspired the political theorists to seek out universal principles of justice. Principles of justice. In contemporary philosophy, Rawls' concept of veil of ignorance आइडियलिज्म है ना ये भी. It is very difficult to keep someone under veil of ignorance. Rawls' concept of the veil of ignorance reflects the Platonic search for impartial, universal truth in the formulation of just societies. देखो, however, Aristotle's methodological approach laid the groundwork for scientific inquiry. Scientific inquiry. With its focus on observation and experimentation. Full stop. Thinkers such as John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, they have used which kind of observations? Empirical. They have emphasized on what? Empirical observations. ठीक है ना? In fact, Hobbes has tried to use scientific method. For him, Machiavelli said man is selfish. Hobbes also said man is selfish. Who has tried to prove scientifically why man is selfish? Hobbes. How Hobbes has tried to prove scientifically man is selfish? Movement of particles in the brain base, and they respond to stimuli of pleasure and pain. Man is under two sovereign masters. ठीक? Used empirical observation of human nature to develop their theories on social contract, governance and rights. ठीक है ना? चाहे वो कोट एंड में लिख सकते हो, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट इज बीन सेड द एंटायर वेस्टर्न फिलॉसफी इज नथिंग बट अ फुटनोट्स टू प्लेटो एंड एरिस्टोटल. ठीक है ना? यहाँ पे आप वो भी डाल सकते हो दैट प्लेटोज, और वो प्लेटोज आइडियलिज्म नहीं है. आइडियलिज्म एज अ आइडियलिज्म हैज इंस्पायर्ड द modern ideologies like liberalism and socialism, and it has its influence on fascism. ठीक है? ठीक. ये समझ आ गया कि वाई एरिस्टोटल इज नॉट अ आइडियलिस्ट बट अ pragmatic, and he is both idealist and materialist. देखो, write a note on Aristotle's idea of golden mean. in which of his ideas we can see the reflection of his golden mean. उसके अलावा theory of property and theory of constitution, ठीक है ना. So golden mean. So if Plato has taken extremes, Aristotle has taken mean, moderate. So that's why we say Aristotle is moderate while Plato is extreme. Extremes लिए हैं Plato ने, बिल्कुल. That's why he has been criticized for committing the guilt of holisticism. ठीक है ना, complete overall in one go. But Aristotle is trying to protect the institutions. So he is known as moderate while Plato is extreme. And approach भी याद रखना. Plato has used which approach to give his ideas? Deductive approach. And Aristotle has used which approach? Inductive approach. I hope you understand the difference between deductive and inductive. Online students, you understand the difference between deductive and inductive? Which one is specific to general? And general to? हाँ, मतलब क्या हुआ इसका, easy में आपको किसी को समझाना हो. So if you are observing and then coming up with the final analysis, this is inductive approach. ठीक है ना, empirical scientific approach. Deductive is philosophical. You have given your idea and then try to justify that idea. So armchair geographers are known as using which approach? Deductive. ठीक है ना, rocking chair पे बैठ के रात में ideas दे दिए. ये कैसी approach हुई? Deductive. आप Humboldt करंट पढ़ा होगा आपने, तो Humboldt कैसा जोग्राफर था? Empirical inductive. He jumped into the current to feel the cold current. He was a real geographer. He entered into the live volcano. ठीक है ना, to study volcano. Live volcano यानी कि फट रहा था. ठीक है. So live means still it was not dormant. ठीक है ना. So he entered to study volcanism. So it becomes which kind of approach? Inductive approach. ठीक है ना. Field geography inductive होती है. आर्मचेयर ज्योग्राफी डिडक्टिव होती है. तो प्लेटो डिडक्टिव है, अरिस्टोटल इंडक्टिव. ठीक है. So we can see the reflection of his idea of golden mean in his theory of property and theory of constitution. He is known as the father of political science. सबसे पहले while Plato is perfectionist, Aristotle is known as moderate. He was focusing on best or best practicable. ठीक है ना. We can see the reflection of his idea of golden mean in his theory of property and constitution. और फिर आप वो दोनों चीजें लिख दो. This is a note on Aristotle's idea of golden mean. हाँ, लिख सकते हैं. बुद्धिस्ट मध्य मार्ग इसमें आ सकता है. Even later, even Buddha has emphasized on madhyam marg, avoiding extremes. आप लिख सकते हो ये बात. एक क्वेश्चन लिखो. टू व्हाट एक्सटेंट डू यू थिंक, to what extent do you think Aristotelian ideas has contributed to the development of modern constitutional democracies? what extent do you think Aristotelian idea has contributed to the development of modern constitutional democracies? So what are the features of modern constitutional democracy? Rule of law, and Aristotle is known as the father of constitutionalism. That state is to be governed through a written set of laws. ठीक है? और और एक तो रूल ऑफ लॉ हो गया, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म हो गया, ठीक है ना. हिज आइडिया ऑफ सिटीजनशिप, दैट सिटीजनशिप दैट यू नीड टू डू योर ड्यूटी टूवर्ड्स द स्टेट, बट हम यहाँ पे क्रिटिसाइज भी करेंगे दैट हिज सिटीजनशिप इज नैरो एंड डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी. इसमें हम नहीं कर डिनाई नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है ना. So his theory of citizenship is often accused of being regressive for modern times, ठीक है ना, as it excludes women and as it excludes womanly को. फिर his theory of slavery is being criticized in modern constitutional democracies. We cannot support the institution of slavery, and Kantian idea of human dignity prevails. ठीक. Then हम कह सकते हैं modern most of the constitutional democracies do support what? The institution of state. He has taken an organic view of state. For him, man is chronologically prior, but state is men's life become worth living with the emergence of state, and political science as a political science begins and ends with what? State, according to Gartner. ठीक है ना. तो ये point भी इसमें आ सकता है, that he is supporting the institution of state, and for him though men becomes chronologically before, but teleologically कह सकते हैं, logically men's life became worth living with the emergence of the institution of state. So he has made a very strong case for what? Civic participation by asserting citizenship as a duty, and it has laid the foundation for participative democracy. But we do criticize him for his narrow view on citizenship and for his theory of slavery, and no amount of the justification of the institution of slavery can be, we cannot justify the institution of slavery on no matter how relevant it is or how beneficiary it can be for the economy of the state, as what prevails, the theory of human dignity. ठीक है? Tomorrow, is it fine if I'll start the class around 3 p.m. online students, just for tomorrow, and then from next Friday it will be 5, okay, 5 to 7:30 or 8. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just for tomorrow the class timing is 3 o'clock. Okay. So revise Machiavelli, Hobbes, Locke and Mill. So tomorrow we are going to finish 4 philosophers. ठीक? I'm giving you a question from the previous year PYQs, one from Plato and one from Aristotle. If you have the time, try to frame answers for both the questions. रेफरेंस मतलब मैं चेक करूंगा. लिखो until philosophers are kings. Or kings of this world have the spirit and power of philosophy, comma, cities will never have rest from evil. Will never have rest from evil. हाँ, मार्कर नहीं, आप अभी टेंशन लो, जितना लिख सकते हो रेलेवेंट उतना लिखो. तो ये वही कोट है, until philosophers are the rulers or rulers learn philosophy, there is no end to the predicaments of life. लिखो next question. The polis exists by nature, and that it is prior to the individual. Comment. The polis exists by nature, and that is prior to the individual. कल मिलते हैं. कुछ भी कर दो. The polis exists by nature, and that is prior to the individual. Comment. ठीक. See you tomorrow. Bye. Take care. हाँ जी. Okay. अपने आप वैसे भी 20-25 नंबर सेकंड मेंस में इस बार बढ़ जाएंगे, क्योंकि कंसोलिडेशन बेटर होगा, नर्व्स बेटर कंट्रोल होंगी, तो थोड़ा तो बढ़ ही जाएगा स्कोर। हाँ, इतना बहुत है। जीएस भी फोकस करना है ना। एसए में कितने थे लास्ट टाइम? तो फिर एसए पे भी वर्क करना। ऑप्शनल तो ठीक था, थोड़ा तो वैसे भी इम्प्रूव हो जाता अपने आप। बाकी टेस्ट सीरीज लिखेगा, ये नोट्स, ये सारे पॉइंट, अब जैसे जो आज क्लास हुई, आज प्लेटो एरिस्टोटल, अब अगर कुछ लिखना हो तो थोड़ा बेटर याद हुआ, वरना खुद से पढ़ रहे होते तो थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं। तो इतना ही बहुत है मेरे हिसाब से, तो इतना बहुत है। अगर हम इतने पॉइंटर्स के साथ भी एग्जाम में चले जाते हैं तो हम ठीक ठाक क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कराते हैं। कौन सी क्लास से पहले? अब टेस्ट देगा ना, जो पहला टेस्ट होगा उसमें रिवाइज करेगा, फिर वो टेस्ट लिखेगा, फिर उस टेस्ट का फीडबैक मिलेगा, बस इतना बहुत है। एग्जाम से पहले वो टेस्ट का फीडबैक देके चले जाना उन पॉइंटर्स को याद करके। इग्नोर करो, वो तो नहीं हो सकते कभी भी अटेम्प्ट। ठीक है, एक मिनट। हाँ, बत पूछ। क्लास में ही करवाऊंगा। ये आज जो दिया है वैल्यू एडिशन ही था, ये जो पॉइंटर्स दिए वैल्यू एडिशन ही है। प्लेटोज आइडियलिज्म एंड एरिस्टोटलियन इंपेरियलिज्म का कंटिन्यूएशन जो हमने लिखा, ये वैल्यू एडिशन ही है। हम्म, ये वैल्यू एडिशन ही है, ऐसे ही हॉब्स का, ऐसे ही लॉक का, यही वैल्यू एडिशन है। पॉलिटिकल ऑब्लिगेशन में कौन कौन से स्कॉलर का नाम देना है, ये वैल्यू एडिशन ही है ना। और कुछ आ जाएगा। हाँ, हाँ जी, वो मैं राम सर से कहूँगा, वो दे देंगे। ठीक है। हाँ जो, कौन सी बुक? कौन सी बुक चाहिए? बुक चाहिए या नोट्स चाहिए? मैं आपको नोट्स दे दूंगा, आपका नंबर आप मेरे को एक बार पिंग कर दो, मैं आपको नोट्स शेयर कर लूंगा, क्लास वाले नोट्स से पढ़ लो। हाँ, मैं नोट्स दे दूंगा। कोई बात नहीं, मैं आपको नोट्स दे दूंगा। ओके। कैसी चल रही है पढ़ाई? ठीक है। ठीक है। क्या चीज़? लेक्चर्स? हाँ, उनको तो कवर करना ही है, फिर साथ साथ कर ले। वैसे तुझे अच्छा याद था आज, अच्छा याद था। कोई बात नहीं, घर से डांट अभी भी पड़ती है। ओके। कोई बात नहीं, पढ़ती रह। ठीक है। अभी ये क्रैश कोर्स कर, तेरा कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ जाएगा। ठीक है। ओके। ये उधर से दिगंबर को बुलाना, दिगंबर को बुलाना, दिगंबर दिगंबर। हम्म। हाँ रिकॉर्डिंग, इसे रिलीज कर दे यूट्यूब पे। हम्म। हम्म। अरे मैं कर लूंगा मैनेज। हाँ वो बंद है उधर से, उसकी चिंता ना करो यार।